Welcome to, oh, what? Forgot about waiting for those applause, man. Welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man, Rod Love, and hey, the General Attorney Greg Jackson, man. Greg, I know you always ask me this, but I got to ask you this. Man, how was your doggone weekend? Because mine was great.
You know, my weekend was actually pretty good, Brother Love.
Laid back, because what was it last week? You say you kind of chilled a little bit.
No. I chilled this week, too. I was supposed to be getting ready for trial and ended up got some things moved and got some things taken care of.
Okay.
And so I was able to just kind of, catch up on some things and everything like that. But it wasn't as hectic as I thought. So, but no, it was a good weekend. But the other thing, too, though, is that I saw my goddaughter. She was in town, and a lot of folks. I don't talk a lot about my personal stuff.
Yeah.
But my goddaughter, who I've known since she was first born, like literally, was in town. She recently graduated from Juilliard with a bachelor's degree, and now she has a master's from Juilliard. And so she was in town, and got a chance to hang out with her and things. I hadn't seen her since the pandemic, man.
Man, so
yeah,
love fest.
Yeah,
love
absolutely,
fest.
man, absolutely. So that was a great part of the weekend. So and then also it was my mom's birthday this past weekend.
Oh man, come on. Hey, happy birthday, Mama Jackson.
Yeah, and so I don't get myself in trouble. My wife's birthday was on the 10th of July. My mom's birthday is on the 21st of July.
So July, you got a busy month during the month of July, making sure that you take care of business.
Yeah, man.
Hey, and also happy birthday to First Lady Jackson too.
Hey, but now we got to circle back because now you're trying to change the order of business now. So how's your weekend this weekend, Brother Love?
Man, just blessed, man, and full of being able to chill.
Okay.
Being able to chill, man.
See, it's benefits to it. People don't understand it's benefits to just being able to sit back and relax. But also in that relaxation, Brother Love, there was some stuff that was popping up all around us that we're gonna be getting to in a few minutes.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. And Greg, I do have to send out, man, a heartfelt condolences to Pastor Richard King. He lost his niece, and man, he's there for everybody, man. So we want to make sure we're there for him, man. Want to go ahead and extend our heartfelt prayers to him as well, man.
No, man, absolutely. This is my first hearing it, man, and so heartfelt condolences, thoughts, and prayers go out to my friend, your father-in-law, Pastor Richard King, and of course, if it's anything I can do, man, do not hesitate to call me.
I'm sure he appreciate that. Greg, man, I have to give a shout out, and I was mentioning this to you before we came on air. Dr. Randy Nelson of 21st Century Research and Evaluation. A lot of people are familiar with Dr. Nelson as he led the Bethune-Cookman University Center of Law and Justice.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Dr. Nelson, he's continuing the pace of excellence.
Yeah.
And Greg, you ready for this?
What you got?
He represented America. He represented Florida in Barcelona, Spain.
You talking about the place across the water?
The place across the water over there.
Okay.
But he represented, man. I mean, Dr. Nelson represents excellence, man, through and through. And he actually performed a presentation that they were very interested in. And that presentation was exploring and addressing youth violence in America.
Really? Wow.
And reason why, Dr. Nelson is incredible in and of itself. But this is a person that also, Greg, worked with us in 2017, 2018.
And listen, and there's always a phone call away if there's an issue that comes up that we need to discuss, even like right now today. So world famous Dr. Randy B. Nelson is a friend of the show and is a friend of ours, man. So big ups to him.
Barcelona Spain.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, there's a saying. I don't know if folks have heard this, but there's a saying that even a soldier is never a sergeant amongst his peers. And if you want to get biblical about it, the great one, JC, Jesus Christ said, even in his own hometown, is a prophet without honor.
You're right.
But that is not the case in Let's Talk Nation.
You're right.
When
You're
we
right.
have someone who is doing great things and someone who is elevating themselves, we have no other choice, no other option but to big them up and say, listen, continue to go forward, continue to do great things. And Dr. Randy B. Nelson is no exception to that rule of us saying, man, this brother's doing some outstanding work out there. So,
outstanding, Greg, and highly recognized in community stakeholder communities across the United States, but also is equally recognized and respected by law enforcement in making that connectivity. So again,
and listen, for what it sounds like, he's international now.
International.
And so all of you all who are here in the States that had a chance to work with Dr. Randy B. Nelson when his rates was reasonable.
Not just with,
hey, listen, because once you go international, man, those rates go up, Doc. So don't give them no breaks now.
Hey, you're right. Hey, Dr. Randy Nelson, once again, and you're hearing it from the general as well as myself. Hey, man, we are proud of you. You're making America proud of you. And he'll start all of his introductions. I'm just an old country boy from Wakulla, Florida.
Listen, man, he's representing the Panhandle lovely because, I'm from the Panhandle too. So Dr. Randy B. Nelson is representing the Panhandle lovely, representing the state of Florida, like you say, representing these United States. To go over to Barcelona, Spain to talk about a topic that is, so hard pressing and to be viewed as an authority in that area is outstanding and amazing.
Outstanding. I mean, he spearheaded with us, Greg, in 2017, 2018, the POPCA Task Force on Violence. He also participated with the Orange County Citizen Safety Task Force when, once again, man, and it's sad that we do these things when, unfortunately, man, when we see a level of violence and things that take place that we have to engage and organize, but Dr. Nelson's been a leader, man. So once again, we're proud of you and keep up the great work.
Absolutely. So, brother, where do we go from here, man?
Hey, I don't know how to segue on this one to one of the major topics that's in all of the news. But hold up, let me back up. General, you all right?
I'm good, man.
Because this is a part of the show where you let people know who they listening to and what they about to hear. And you talk about their IQ. So come on, I'm gonna pass it back to you first, man. I'm gonna pass it back to you.
Well, listen, so since Brother Love to call me out while I'm doing me some research over here, you're now listening and tuned in to two of the most influential voices in Central Florida on a Monday night podcast. Brother Love and Greg Jackson, the dynamic duo guaranteed to raise your IQ 15 to 20 points. No, some nights, Brother Love, will go up to 30. If you want to be a part of the night show, all you got to do, Brother Love, it's very simple. They just pick up this little thing right here, take this one little thing right here, and hit 321-483-7002. Again, that's 321-483-7002 to talk to Brother Love and Greg Jackson, the dynamic duo. Brother Love, let's
get it on. Well, and speak in terms of getting it on, Greg, let's get it on with something that we left off with last week, and that was all of the discussion, the topic about President Biden and whether or not he would bow out of the presidential election.
It wasn't as much of a conversation last week, obviously, as it is this week. Because one of the things that we were told by a lot of people that Joe Biden was cognizant, that Joe Biden was one of the best versions of himself that he has ever been, that Joe Biden was in this race to win, and that he was going to take Donald Trump to the woodshed come November. He beat him once before. He's going to beat him again. You had the vice president of these United States on newscasts talking about how Biden just had a bad night in a debate and that he is as sharp as ever. You had Jean-Pierre, Karine Jean-Pierre, who is the White House press secretary, who was on there saying that there's nothing wrong. And then all of a sudden, Brother Love, we hear that Joe Biden has the COVID. He's hit across the head and beat down by COVID. And then he's in isolation. And then we get the announcement, Brother Love, on Saturday.
And
Joe Biden is bowing out of his re-election campaign. Top Flight, what you got, man?
I had to pop in for this. It's one of those special moments. It's funny because Friday I told my wife, I said, Biden will be out before Monday. I say because they're going to plan it in such a way that next week and the week beyond, it's going to dominate the news cycle because you got it creates so much attention on them, and it really has thrown the race for president into kind of flux. I won't say chaos, but it's in a flux because they're so now they got to everybody's got to recalibrate. The Dems are going to be scrambling. Trump has to scramble and see what attack or approaches he would take against Harris. They got to name a vice president nominee to run with her. So it's going to be an interesting next 100 and something days. It's going to be real interesting because we're at a place where this has never happened in the history of the country before. So,
Well, it's a lot of never happens in the history of this country that's taking place with this election cycle. I mean, you've never had two individuals who were as old as President Biden and Donald Trump, former President Trump, are. You never had a debate as early in the process as it was in this particular debate. You've never had a former president who has been indicted not once, not twice, but multiple times. You've never had a president of these United States, a former president of these United States, who has and is facing all of these legal battles and trouble. You never had a former president, now candidate on the campaign trail, who was almost assassinated by a Secret Service who still can't answer the question of why it is that they were made aware of this threat 20 minutes before it happened and they still allowed them to go on stage. There's so many never before historical moments in this campaign. And you're right, Dr. Light, this, but I don't even think if this is well, let me take it back. This is shocking to me. You want to know why it's shocking to me, brother? Why it's shocking to me, Dr. Light?
why?
Because the Democrats told me as a Democrat that I could trust them, that Joe Biden was our nominee, that I needed to get behind Joe Biden, and that was going to be our candidate. So I am surprised as anybody because the Democrats, I thought I could trust my party to put my candidate that they told me was going to be my candidate and run with him until November.
You can't until the Democrats get to the place where we are disciplined. See, I'm including myself because I'm a lifelong Democrat as well, and Democratic Party is one of the most undisciplined organizations that's functioning in America. It really is. They can't stay on message. Everybody's got to have a turn or angle instead of party unity and oneness in what the problems that need to be addressed by them are. They still are dealing in this reality of it's my turn next.
Well, but here's what I have for you, because we had a lot of discussion and conversation last week on this topic. And Greg, do you recall what month did the debate take place?
June.
Okay, so the debate took place in June. Let me ask you this question: what situation do you think we have been in? Because right now, a lot of people are saying, "Thank God that the debate took place in June." Because that was an early debate. Do you realize that?
Remember, I said it last week. They set him up.
Yeah.
They set Biden up. This was planned. They knew what they were going to do.
But you realize that was an early debate.
Yeah, the earliest ever.
Think about what situation the country would be in right now had that debate taken place in August or September.
But we would still be being told by the Democrat Party that Joe Biden is the best version of himself.
But you couldn't disguise it. If the debate had taken place in August or September, you could not disguise it, and the situation would be far worse.
So what you're saying is that that you're happy that we had a chance to see this as early as we did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say it.
Let me ask you, great. Let me ask you this, and think. I want you to really think about this. Do you think the Republicans overplayed their hand against Joe Biden?
How so? What do you mean, Doc?
Well, because in Joe Biden, they had a known entity. They knew what their strategy was with him. By them jumping on the bandwagon and forcing this issue and calling, for him to resign and all of this stuff now, it throws them into now they have.
Wait, before my brother responds,
come up with a strategy.
Wait, Doc, before my brother responds, come on. Don't put it just on the Republicans. Democrats were calling for his head before the Republicans.
I'm not saying, Rod, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying from a strategic point for the Republicans, they knew what they got in Joe Biden. Now it's completely unknown.
I want to hear what the general got to say about this because
So listen. I've been saying this for a while. I said tongue in cheek that I was deceived by the Democrat Party, but I saw this coming a mile away. I knew that Joe Biden was being set up when he set up that debate, when they agreed to allow him to debate Donald Trump in the first place, and as early as they did. Now, Doc, Kamala Harris is not an unknown entity. Remember, she was a presidential candidate in 2020, and she put out before the entire world what her record was as the former as a former attorney general for California. In addition to that, she was a freshman senator out of the great state of California, but not so great state of California, only one great state, and that's the state of Florida. I apologize to my Floridians here. But she is not an unknown entity. She's the same person who was the border czar. And don't get me, see, now y'all got me sounding like a Republican. I had to tell somebody this weekend. I said, they came up to me, first of all, they came up to me, they said, we know you like, because you're a Republican. I said, I'm not the Republican. I said, Brother Love's I'm the Democrat, but y'all make me sound like a Democrat. Every time we talk about these elections, y'all make me sound like a Democrat.
So Greg, you also make me want to ask you the question out of a cast of about, I think, what was it? 17 candidates at the time.
You talking about for the Democrats?
Yeah, for the Democrats.
It was a bunch of them.
How did Vice
Not
President
well.
Harris? Yeah,
Not well.
That's my whole point.
She terminated her campaign in December because her numbers were abysmal. Kamala Harris. So let's get back to what she's been placed in charge of. Kamala Harris was placed in charge of the border. What happened with the border? Well, she is a known entity, which the only reason why I personally believe that Kamala Harris has been put up as the nominee for the Democratic Party, it is its procedural in nature.
Yeah.
If it wasn't Kamala Harris,
the
90 some odd $1 million that's in the coffers for the Democrat Party would have gone to waste. This is the only way that they get to keep that $96 million that went towards the Biden-Harris campaign.
I think in my looking at it, while she is known, she's not a known entity at a national level. You got to give her some credit because I think her hands were tied with the situation with Bumbling Joe and the border. We don't know. Remember they were saying there was so much confusion in her staff?
Yeah, because everybody kept quitting.
Yeah.
Well, because you had people who were kneecapping her. I
don't know about that, dog. Now you're trying to say that the people that was around her that they were trying to take her out.
They were kneecapping her. She hasn't had that issue for the last year and a half because she changed.
That's because they've been quiet about it. It ain't because it ain't happening. It's because they've been quiet.
Hey, but let me
she got rid of staff. She fired almost 3/4 of her staff.
But remember, who picked her staff?
She did.
So if there's people in there that's kneecapping, she wanted to put them in there.
Again, remember the Democrats don't believe in performance based. They believe in seniority based.
Yeah,
it's your turn. You see what I'm saying?
And that when we talk about excellence, that seniority piece goes right out the window. But Greg, let me ask you this question, man. From your perspective, what do you think Black Democrats? How should they be feeling about this?
I mean, listen, me personally, as a Democrat, I feel that this is a way of disenfranchising Democratic voters of their vote. And not just Black, but all Democratic voters of their vote. And in particular, the 15 million Democrats who voted for Joe Biden to be their candidate in the primaries. I also think that this was an opportunity for there to be some fresh minds, some fresh voices in the Democrat Party to step up and run for president. And no, listen, it maybe even if Joe Biden 6 months ago would have said, hey, I'm not running and let Kamala step in that place, I would see it differently. But it seems as if at the last minute, they're now putting Kamala Harris in front of us and saying, hey, here's your candidate. And that's the thing about the Democratic Party that I don't like. They tell us who it is that we're supposed to vote for and who we need to vote for. And that is not what the democratic process is about.
You're right. And Doc just tap-toed into this one thing. And Greg, I'm going to bring it up. You, me, and Doc, we were talking last week. And yes, I'm going to bring it up specifically. When we talked about the Congressional Black Caucus and that out of 435 members, all 60 were unified in saying that they believe President Biden was fit for the job.
They said that they told us that was our guy.
Yeah. And so To my point,
remember, we talked about what black elected official is going to have the courage to step up and say that Joe Biden should not be running for office. And for 2 weeks, these elected black individuals told us that we were crazy.
I'm gonna protect Doc right now, but
I think Doc in lockstep with us on that, though.
Yeah, in lockstep. But I don't see Doc will come back on air and go way off. But to my point was this, Greg. I was insulted when I looked to see all 60 Congressional Black Caucus members were in lockstep to say he was fit for the job. And now the question comes up now that if he's not running for re-election, is he fit to finish the next 5-6 months?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think that there's any reason to evoke the 25th Amendment. I know that has been, some of the suggestions from the Republican side. But 5 months left. He has a staff around him. There's no need to do something that has not been done in American history since Ronald Reagan when he went under when he had that surgery after he was shot. That assassination attempt, and he had to revoke the 25th Amendment while he was having surgery performed. But I don't think that this is the reason. I think that he has a staff around him. What they've been doing for the past 3.5 years, they can continue to do for the next 5 months. And so I think that he finishes out his term, that he heads out to the pasture gracefully, and that we just kind of see him at a baseball game every now and again, or sitting on the beach with his baseball cap on, and let him enjoy his senior year.
Here go a fastball early in the show. This is not a rapid fire for you.
Right.
We've seen all the different polling, whether people want to say the polling is correct or not. And I mean, we don't take the polling because we know how off it can be.
Right.
But one of the things, Greg, that we've had discussion on this show time and time again, when you look at the fact that the Republican Party has said, hey, look, we see more African-American men coming with us than we've ever seen before. Now, as of the day, and I received this where you see, I don't believe it's Roland Martin who's
hosting or whatever he's doing.
What black men?
We stand with her, or something like that. Black men for Kamala Harris, or something like that.
But why is that taking place when there's the denial that the level and the number and the percentage of African American men are not rolling down the same path of the Democratic Party as they have seen in the past?
Well, let me say this, and I know I'm gonna get some flack about this, but I've said it before. My mom told me not to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. But I'm gonna say it in a more tactful way.
Okay.
This whole thing about black men, we stand with Kamala Harris and all this other stuff, black men that support Kamala Harris. This is what I'll do. I will get with that movement, Brother Love. When Kamala Harris's black husband comes to that meeting and he heads up that meeting for her.
Doc, I know you got to come back on the screen for that one because
I mean, did I say something wrong?
No, you didn't. You absolutely didn't.
If the black man who is not leading that charge and calling all black men together is not Kamala Harris's husband, how can I get behind somebody like that?
And I have not heard anybody have that conversation.
And here's the other question too, though, Brother Love. When are we going to have Asian men for Kamala Harris? When are we going to have white men for Kamala Harris? When are we going to have Hispanic men for Kamala Harris? Why is it that every time Democrats want to go after a vote, they pick on us black folks? As if we have to get behind the black person that's in the race. Why is it that all of a sudden we got to get tagged, we need to get somebody elected, so give us your vote without earning anything from it?
Hey, on this segue, welcome back, Doc.
Okay,
Doc, you're on mute.
We fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Doc, speaking to your mic, man. Let's say that again.
We fall for the banana in the tailpipe every time.
Hey, they get us every time. Get us every time, but they gonna get me this time, Doc. Not this time.
It's just like the snake.
Yeah.
The snake gonna bite you. I don't care how much he professionally says he won't. He will bite you.
Yeah.
That's what snakes do.
What I find real interesting is it's been all of this denial about black men that are looking at the Republican Party. And you know what? Take Trump out of it. Black men that's looking at the Republican Party from the viewpoint of, hey, look, I need to be looking at doing something else that is going to benefit my family.
Boom, there you go.
Let me say this real quick, Doc. And let's just get it out here. Let's get out here. I hear that, and I understand that there are a number of black men that are shifting towards the Republican Party.
They're not changing their affiliation, but
But they're shifting towards
correct.
the Republican
Yeah.
Party. The Republican Party has not done a single thing, in my perspective, to continue to attract and make it attractive for African American males to be a part of their party.
And my
And
constructive
Because the
criticism-
people that they put in front of us, now I can say,
You're right.
Listen, I'm telling you, man, I'm on my bicycle tonight. I'm on my bicycle tonight.
but now listen.
Let Greg finish. I want to
No,
hear
I
this.
was done. I was done. I'm on my bicycle
okay,
tonight.
okay.
man.
Now listen, you're absolutely right, because what they're doing is they're looking at. I've been talking to the Democrats
Yep.
for years and years and years about the issues that apply to me. They are deaf, dumb, and blind to what I'm saying. So why would I not go? They don't have an allegiance to me. Why should I have an allegiance to them?
Right?
Black men are starting to look for a political home.
Yep.
That's what they're doing. Because-
and Brother Jackson, the general, I understand completely, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
That my party needs to make sure that people understand there's room underneath this tent. I don't think we've been doing the job that we can do to do that. But man, we got a great opportunity right now. And when I say great opportunity, and people are looking at opportunities from the standpoint of business opportunities, opportunities from what can the policies that can be derived from this, how can that impact the quality of life of my family and my community? So yeah, black men are exploring other options right now.
Yeah. What you got, Doc?
Well, I look at this. The reason why I'm not a Republican, and it's simple for me. People may not agree with me. Y'all know that I am super conservative. I'm out of all of us, I'm probably more conservative than Rod is in many of my beliefs and things. I don't want everybody to y'all hear me in the background. I don't think we should be giving handouts to everybody. I don't think that many of the social programs that the Democrats use are effective. I really don't. And I'm for less government. But the problem is, as long as I feel that the Republicans continue to embrace the racist wing of that party and actually give them a platform, then that's problematic for me. I have no problem getting in there on merit and competing. But when you think that they've changed enough, they go embrace the Proud Boys or like-minded people, and that's off-putting to many people of color. It really is.
No, right. You gonna let him sit there and say that? Now, dude, I'm telling y'all. See, y'all try to make me sound like a Republican, and I'm not a Republican.
Listen, but it is in the back of your mind.
But no, listen. But no. So, when have the Proud Boys been officially welcomed into the Republican Party, or is it that some Proud Boys are Republicans?
It hasn't been, but I hear what
And the other thing, when they talked about the thing in Charlottesville, when they said that Trump said that those are great Americans that were in that, he even denounced the individuals who the white supremacists and the white nationalists. He denounced them, but even though he denounced them, people say they don't believe him.
But see, here's the problem: how many racists going to admit to that they're racist?
A whole bunch of them. Have you been to Alabama?
I've been to
Have you been
Alabama.
to Mississippi?
I got.
With the Democrats, with the white
listen,
Democrats in those cities,
but
Doc,
that's an exception because you know that
did you use the word perception?
Exception.
I say that's an exception.
Okay.
The Alabama. Listen.
Wait. So now when we talk about 50 years ago,
okay,
what was the Democrat Party doing to black folks 50 years ago?
That's misconstrued
that ain't
history.
When
You have to factor in the fact that see I can't argue with him, Rod. He a lawyer, so he get me on that.
But you know what? But here's something that we can settle on.
Wait! I ain't finished yet. I told you I'm on my bicycle now. Hey,
objection, Your Honor. Objection to the line of questioning.
No, what?
Objection.
Overrules. But listen, what party also pushes these social programs that has effectively pushed African American men out of the home? Okay. What party has done that?
Doc, I want to hear your response.
Just because they've changed their stripes and they no longer stand out in front of us and say, this is who I am, and no, we want to keep you all out of our schools and we want to keep you all out of our neighborhoods. It was Democrats saying that. They put programs in place to where African Americans are still being held down.
When did African Americans become Democrats?
1960, 1950s, 1960s.
And Doc,
Right.
what you're
And-
actually
and
saying,
that's-
when did
and that's-
African Americans switch to the Democratic Party?
And the exodus of white Democrats began at that same time. Okay, to the Republican Party. That's when you had the whites that were on things like White Citizens Council and the KKK. All of them start going over to the Republican Party. See, so what the Democrats have right now is they have the historic alignment with racism from the Civil War, but that's not who the party is. The base party, both parties actually switched personalities going into the Civil Rights era.
Doc,
And Johnson,
because when we're conversing, when I look at you and Greg as blue dog Democrats that have those conservative principles, and yeah, I'm straight up and down Republican, but you know what? We're not that doggone far different from one another.
No,
And Doc, I'll go back to Dr. Randy Nelson when we have these conversations, because you made reference to the Proud Boys and something else. And one of the things, man, that rings true is when you say that, back it up with what legislator, what politician.
Yeah, because when did Strom Thurmond go from Democrat to Republican? When did Lyndon Baines Johnson go from Democrat to Republican?
in the 60s.
Strom Thurmond was a Democrat till he died.
In name only. Who did he caucus with?
Democrats. Strom Thurmond was a Democrat.
Hit in name
Man,
only.
you better
I'm
go to
telling you.
Google. You better Google.
Okay, I'll get my Google, but he
Strom
made
Thurmond.
because that the Democratic Party that he was a member of used to be the Republican Party.
No,
The
it was
personality.
always the Democrat Party. You better
I'm
check
telling
it.
you.
What about Byrd?
You
What
need
about
to.
Robert
Oh,
Byrd?
you going?
Okay.
What about Robert Byrd?
Okay, so in the 50s, the racist
We're
party
talking about
was.
the 70s now. We talking about.
I know, but those people were part of what was his name? The governor of Alabama.
You talking about George Wallace? Democrat.
Yeah, what was he?
Democrat.
Exactly.
He never switched from being a Democrat.
I know that, but I'm saying that their principles align with the modern Republican Party now.
So you mean to tell me that Republicans are standing out in front of schools telling black kids they can't go to school?
No, I'm saying that the people.
'Cause that's
I'm
what
saying
they
that.
want to
Listen,
do it.
I'm saying that the people that used to tell them are now Republicans.
Is this making sense to you?
It makes plenty of sense.
Wait, is anybody else scratching their heads?
Because one of the things was that when Lyndon Baines Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, where did black people go? They flooded. Because prior to that, my grandfather, the one I was telling you I was born in 1896, he was a Republican.
But I'm gonna bring this into a little bit more modern times, and I know this individual switched, and I don't know how long ago it switched, but come on, if you're having that kind of conversation, Doc, talk about Manchin. Manchin, is that his name?
Joe
Greg?
Manchin.
Joe Manchin. Oh, he's
Yeah.
just a confused old white dude. So,
But Doc, we can't keep making excuses, though.
Yeah, man,
I'm not making excuses.
It was like, oh, he didn't do that. Oh, he was confused.
Hey,
Oh, that's
wait a
the wrong
minute.
person.
Where is he from?
No.
He's from
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Have you been to West Virginia? Y'all talking about Alabama.
Oh, trust me. West Virginia wasn't Alabama now. Listen.
So
hey,
I mean,
the only reason why I'm gonna rep Alabama a little bit because I'm from the South. You know what I'm saying? If you close to my area, I'm gonna represent you a little bit, but I ain't gonna get ridiculous. over
Hey,
this.
So
you know,
let's
hey,
bring it back full circle.
West Virginia so inbred, they got blue people.
But how did we get on this topic of the conversation? And the conversation specifically is black folk and their relationship with the Democratic Party.
Because the Democratic Party is I don't want to say a disappointment just yet, but the Democratic Party I think
I can
failed.
say that. I'm older than y'all, so I can say that.
You say,
It's
okay,
an
yeah.
absolute disappointment
But
because
the Democratic Party, I don't think that the Democrat Party, I'm not going to say that they don't understand. I don't think they care about black issues the way that we think they should or the way that we've been told that they do. Because think about this. I want y'all to think about this. So we're being told, all right, listen, we got to do something historic. We got to get us a black president. How did the black community change when we had a black president? Oh, wait a minute. Wait. We got to get a black female Supreme Court justice in there. We got to support this. How did the black community change when we got a black female Supreme Court judge. Oh, wait a minute. We have history to make. We have a black female vice president. First time it's ever been done. How did the black community change when we had a black, and she's not black. Let's get this straight. She never says that she's black. She's a woman of color. That's what she says, and she is correct.
Yeah.
She is actually Asian and she's Caribbean. She's not black African American.
But why is that? I mean, that she will say she's Asian because she says she's black.
That's what she connects with. Listen, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad.
It's what she identifies as. We don't know that she ever claimed to be black. We didn't grow up with
we
her.
make her black.
Yeah. We love doing that. We go claim people. Look how I despise the fact that they used to call Bill Clinton the first black president. What?
Listen, why did they call him the first black president? Oh, because he played the saxophone, he smoked weed, and he got with somebody in the White House. Oh, so that's black president because he's doing that?
Yeah, he getting a blowjob.
Hey, I'm gonna roll right past that. Hey, but let me.
Hey, I heard you, Doc.
Oh, hey. Y'all forgive me there at home if y'all got the kids in the room. Send the kids at the room.
Do either one of you believe that the Democratic Party realizes it has a problem with black men right now?
No, let me tell you something. I don't think that the Republican Party realizes that it has a tremendous opportunity to bring African American males under their tent. Exactly. I'm not going to keep putting this on the Democrat Party because I beat up on the Democrat Party as much as I can, as much as I am. The Republican Party has a tremendous opportunity for African American males who feel like they have been forgotten, who feel like their voices have been quelched, because anytime a black male says anything about a black female or white female, whatever, we are silenced. Mm-hmm. I think that the Republican Party can do more to give black men. And I'm going to tell you the only reason why I'm not a Republican, is because I haven't seen that opportunity yet.
And listen, I got
a broadcasting that because we got work to do. But here's the other thing: you don't think, great, and Doc, when have you heard in the history? I mean, we've seen campaigns where there's this rally for African American women to get behind presidential candidates. Great, maybe I missed something, but I'm with her.
But again, the problem is that we demand nothing from anyone.
Yep.
We don't demand anything.
Yep.
And see, we don't put skin in the game either, Rod. And that's been my complaint. See, black people, we want to get grievance benefits. And we got to stop doing that. Everybody else understands that economic power is the first language of America.
Yeah.
We don't. It's like I pointed out about a certain little town, in the community there. They have no money, so they don't have no voice. They don't.
But going back to something you and Greg just said about demanding or commanding anything, and we've had this conversation before. When we have folk from the community that says, "Oh man, I ain't talking to the Republicans. I'm not with the Republicans. Y'all doing this, y'all doing that." And then you ask the question, have you ever gone down and sat with a Republican elected official and told them what your grievance is, what it is you're commanding or demanding or requesting? And the answer has always been, to me at least, no, I ain't going down there because it's a waste of my time.
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because that reminds me of the little dude y'all had problems with. And that little dude called me and said this and this about Greg and Rod. And I said, did you talk to them? Did you call them up man to man? And no, because I said, then don't call me. I say, both of them are my friends. I'm not going to step in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I say more. In fact, I'll be on their side before I be on yours. I've known them longer. So, it's like that. We just assume.
But they won't tell you about
how often do we see black people that assume something about a situation versus going and ask a question?
But you know what? The reason why they assume too, Doc, is because they don't do their own research. I mean, I had a sharp young brother today reach out to me. Another person reached out to me today. He was like, "Well, I guess your president has won." And I was like, you do realize I'm a Democrat, right? I was like, you do realize I'm a Democrat, right? First and foremost.
Well,
I said, but
they think because you look at the totality of what's going
right,
on
right,
through a lens of knowledge versus emotions.
right.
See,
That's right.
we
That's
are
right.
too emotional driven in our
Yeah.
politics
Right.
instead of saying, here's what we need. Here's the thing. When the last time you heard a clear, well articulated platform for any black community?
And a plan. A plan. Come up.
When?
Don't just give me all of your the problems that you see.
Mhm.
Come to the table with a
How
plan.
do you
How do you-
address it?
yeah.
How do you address it? Yeah. Yeah.
You know, years ago, Mayor Demings, and I should have played the disclaimer because, I don't care. He came out with that plan in Pine Hills about, I forgot what they call it, Operation something.
Yeah. When they had the pastors and
Yeah,
presidents.
they marched around and stomped and grind and did all this stuff. And I said, it's not going to work. And I had people inboxing me, attacking me on Facebook and all that. I say, you watch. I said, it's not going to change anything. So they went out and they put out all these felony warrants. They rounded up people. And guess what? People still dying in Pine Hills.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same thing. Because we keep trying to solve problems with the same solutions.
Yeah.
If it didn't work-
it's a change in time. It's a change in time.
If it didn't work the 99th time, why are you going to do it for the 150th time?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have we have no idea community-wise what we need and why we need it.
Yeah. But now let me circle back now, because the way we got here is because I was saying that people don't do their research because we were asking
Right.
the question.
Right.
And so as a part of the conversation, first I had to educate him on the fact that no, I'm not a Republican. I'm a Democrat first and foremost. And then he asked me the question, well, I guess I got to get behind Kamala Harris. And I said, well, why? I mean, because we got to get behind her because she's black. All right, let me stop you right there. Do your research. Do your research. Because the first time somebody says, I'm going to get behind this candidate because they're white, your feelings going to be hurt. The default of your support should rarely be because of the color of somebody's skin. That's just my position.
But you hit it right on the head, Greg, when you talk about do your research. And, we have these conversations on a regular basis. So if you're going to follow and adopt, you brought this up from an emotional perspective, and discarding whether or not this person is going to add value to you and the quality of your life, you're throwing your vote away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. Look at the way that most people make the life decisions. How do they make it? Through emotion.
Yep.
And so they don't know to think, use critical thinking skills. What is the benefit of me voting for this candidate? Other than she's almost my hue. What else qualifies her? I'm not saying she's unqualified, but what are the tangibles? What are her tangibles that makes her a better candidate than the other guy? See, we don't talk about that.
Now, do you think, and Greg, you chime in on this, but do you think people are making their decisions based on personality? We know.
I don't know.
I
I don't know.
Because
No, I think it's more grievance driven.
you think so?
Yeah. We are told universally Republicans are bad for black people.
Okay.
And in many ways, by us not knowing Republicans and them not being open to us, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene calling Kamala Harris a DEI hire. You don't hire the vice president. You elect them. You see that kind of unnecessary remarks from that side, Rod. That's very disrespectful.
But now technically hold on, Doc. Technically, she's right. Because
How?
we didn't elect Kamala Harris as VP. She was selected by Joe Biden. And what Joe Biden told us, remember, this is what Joe Biden told us. Joe Biden told us that his vice presidential candidate was going to be
a woman.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
other
yeah.
qualification whatsoever. He selected her. She
So-
was not elected by the American people. She was a part of a ticket that was elected, but she was
Right.
his selection
So,
as
but
VP. And he said that his
they
only qualification
was
that-
she part of the package?
So
Was she part? Was she part of the package for
he made it.
president?
Yeah, he made it that.
Yeah, that was it. Well, you know, he again, we talk about somebody that's been proven to not be the brightest bulb in the box. So that right there, we probably should have knew when he came out and said all that kind of stuff. You know, Joe Biden has been crazy a long time.
Listen, people need to go back and listen to
So,
Joe Biden
yeah,
from the
And-
80s and the 90s. They really need to go back and listen.
yeah,
to some
because he always say wild stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
And
when he
he's
called
all-
black males, when he called black men super predators, I don't think people understand this. And just like they say, hey, Donald Trump said this and he can't change. Do you think that Joe Biden can change?
And you're right. And the conversation just didn't end there. When he went on Charlemagne the God syndicated radio
That
show.
was the most ignorant statement I
Yeah.
ever heard in all day. So if you don't vote for me, then you're not black. So a white man gonna tell me,
Well,
or
and-
any
and-
man gonna tell me that if I don't vote for somebody, that determines my race and my creed.
And
my
what
color.
was the response from the African American community?
Nothing. We sat there looking
Absolutely
stupid.
nothing.
We sat there looking stupid. Like, oh yeah, he's right. If we don't vote for a Democrat, we ain't black.
But I
Well-
will say this. And Doc, hold on.
Look, we robots.
you-
Look, we robots.
Hey,
We gotta
hey,
vote for the
But
Democrats.
I will say this. Charlemagne the God and who else? Out of Georgia. He won award. Killer Mike.
Oh yeah,
Phil, like, okay.
Yeah. And do y'all realize both these guys have been invited on The View with real strong, I would say,
Outspoken,
outspoken,
liberal,
and
liberal women. Yeah.
individuals. But the thing that I love Charlemagne the God, what he did was he challenged them. He said, everybody that comes on your show, you challenge them to go on their platforms and endorse Joe Biden. He says, I'm not doing it. You guys got to stop bullying us.
Yeah.
And he's from a different generation.
Yeah.
And then Killer Mike was on the show, and Killer Mike said, hey, look, all politics start local for me. If you don't know who your city commissioner is, your county commissioner,
yeah.
and the local folks, he said, don't even talk to me.
But listen, let me ask this question though. Why didn't they have Ice Cube on there? Because Ice Cube was very clear about it.
Yeah.
He said, if you can't tell me what you coming to the table with for my community. So Killer Mike Honda said that.
Yeah.
Charlemagne the God didn't say that. But Ice Cube was very clear about you all don't bring anything to our community.
And to give Trump
got
credit,
I got criticized.
and to give Trump credit, he has had those conversations with people in our community in an honest way
Listen,
that the
Say
Democrats have not for generations.
let me tell you something. I want you to go down to Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach area down there, and I want you to say something bad about Donald Trump to Kodak Black.
Oh yeah. He ready to kill folks.
Listen. I want you to go to one of the roughest areas in Detroit, Michigan, and say something to the former mayor of Detroit, Michigan, Kwame Kilpatrick, about Donald Trump. I want you to go to New Orleans and say something negative about Donald Trump to Lil Wayne and his crew.
You're making your point.
Yeah.
You're making your point.
And-
the proof has been in the pudding. But Greg, I'm surprised you didn't say this. What president contributed or made the allowance for the largest sum total of dollars that go to HBCUs?
Trump.
I mean, listen, you can't.
You can look at
You
criminal
can't- I mean,
justice.
listen, you can't fight that.
Hey, get emotional if you would all
Yeah.
day long. Not liking personalities, hey, you can have it. But
Continual dollars.
continual dollars.
Yeah, he made
continual
and,
dollars.
and that's the thing. What I say about Democrats, they love to give us the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah.
Every 4 years we get the banana in the tailpipe, and we keep falling for it.
But we and you know what? And I hate to keep on drilling this, and I know Greg's gonna say, okay, brother love, settle back. But man, come on. When you look at the communities that need it the most, and I'm gonna go ahead and Greg and Doc, I would agree with you. My party needs to do more to let people know that there's some room underneath this tent. But also in the same respect, Greg, when you look at these communities that we talk about that are in dire need of economic development, that are in when you look at, unfortunately, failing schools, and then the criticism about charter and private schools with kids, you know what population of individuals that help Governor DeSantis in office was black, single, female.
Mothers,
I think
yeah.
that number was 34,000 or so that
Yeah.
said, no, I want to make the decision whether or not my child goes to
Go
private
to-
school.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now listen, I'm surprised you didn't mention this when you talk about, economic development and underserved communities. I'm surprised you didn't talk about what Senator Tim Scott did
Help me.
with enterprise zones.
Oh, well, enterprise and was it opportunity zones? too?
Opportunity zones. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
opportunity zones. My bad. Yeah. I mean, think about that. And so, I mean, you have very clear policies that are being attempted to be put in place. If not put in place, you have very clear numbers on African American institutions being provided with the funding needed to move forward that we don't hear enough about on the Republican side. That I don't even think that it's a hard push for Republicans to attract more African Americans under their tent. And listen, I'm not, like I said, I'm a Democrat.
Well, if they get the few vocals standing out front and telling us to go to the back door out the way, we'll come.
Hey,
Yeah.
but you know what? In this
Yeah.
conversation that we're having, and I'll take one on the chin from the perspective, and I'll continue to say that we need to do a better job of saying that this tent is there's enough room underneath this tent for all of us. But the other thing I'll be critical too when we talk about opportunity zones and things of that extent, man, it's almost like you're also looking at those opportunities that are going unfulfilled. When you look at Greg, and I mentioned it, when you look at Hispanics, and I'm gonna just say this specifically in Orange County, when you look at the what do they call it, MDE opportunities,
Mhm.
man, they are way over the percentage that is projected for them to benefit from contracting. When you look at African American numbers, they're way below.
Yeah.
Are we coming to the table?
Well, it's many factors in that, and one of them is that black people think they have to own a black business. I can't tell you how many times I've taught entrepreneurial courses and workshops, and everybody wants to go get a grant or a minority business loan when they need to focus on business. I'm not a black business. I'm a business. None of you sit there and say, I'm a black businessman. You say, I'm a businessman. Because that's what we need to start. See, we stigmatize ourselves more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And it hurts us. It hurts us tremendously. I've never been a black business, nor tried to get that kind of stuff.
Something that Greg really started rolling out and made me a lot more versed in it than I thought I was, and that was, and when we look back to Black Wall Street, and Miss Wynn did a great job last week of fact checking me, Greg, and I came out and I was critical that folks need to realize that Black Wall Street were producers. They weren't heavy on the consumption side.
Yeah.
When you look at the number of black hospitals that they created, attorneys,
Banks,
yeah.
numerous banks, grocery
Over 600
stores.
But listen though, when we talk about Black Wall Street and we focus on Tulsa, Oklahoma, we can put smaller microcosms of Black Wall Street in virtually any black community in the 1930s, 40s, 50s,
Exactly.
60s,
And
because
thank you.
that's how we survived. So I mean,
Exactly.
in Paramore and Pine Hills, maybe not Pine Hills. I think Pine Hills became Pine Hills after Lockheed Martin, but somebody moved out. But I mean, you can do the
Martin
same thing
Marietta.
with like Overtown and down in Miami. You can do the same thing in Perry, Florida. You can do the same thing in Tallahassee, Frenchtown, over that way. And so the biggest thing that African Americans have forgotten is how great we are with building and sustaining our own business. And we feel like we have to seed into other folks' business. For instance, and we talked about this a whole bunch, and we haven't talked about it in a while. We haven't talked about the life cycle of the dollar in the black community versus every other community. We will take more money and spend it towards luxury items than we will towards putting it towards our business. You have these young kids that get their what they call their tax refunds and things like that. They would rather go out, not even a new car. They'd rather go out and buy Louis Vuitton purses for $2,000. You can start a business with $2,000.
Great, but speak to how long the black dollar circulates in the community, in the black community.
Well, listen, I'm gonna have to check it, but the last time we checked, if you look at certain communities,
in 6 hours, the Asian community.
He said
6
Greg.
hours.
He said Greg.
I'm just helping you out. You my brother.
He said, Greg, here you go.
Hey, now y'all know y'all know I'm a fat chick. So you know,
but you say the 6 hours, but then compare that to other communities like the Asian community. I think the lifespan is like 20 some odd days. In the
30.
Hispanic community, it may be
30
6
now.
days. In the white, maybe 13 days. Compare that days to hours in the black community and how much we spend. We spend enough to constitute, I want to say, the 13th largest nation in the world,
Right,
based on how
GDP.
much is spent in the African American.
So how do we bring that back full circle to the beginning of our conversation as we had this discussion, Greg, about there's
We
an
got-
election taking place in November.
we got to get back to liking ourselves.
Yeah, because we don't like ourselves right now.
No, we
No.
don't.
But how do we do that? How do we do that? Y'all state that. How do we do that?
Stop listening to this Democrat Party telling us what to do
Exactly.
and become free thinkers. We have to
Exactly.
do our own research.
That's a
And
start.
when they tell us something, if anybody if anybody tells you something, be willing to find out and research and get the information for yourself. We rely too much as African Americans in our communities for somebody to tell us who to vote for, what to do, and what to think. You'll be surprised and shocked at how many people during the election time will call me and say, "Who should I vote for?"
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're right.
you too.
Let me
You
give you
too.
this information. This way you can find out about it. That's what I tell them. I tell them a little bit about them. This is what I know about it. But
No,
you-
I just direct them. The stakes too high. They-
Oh,
the stakes too high.
And you know what? We've been speaking, Greg, Doc, for years now, because there was I'm not even gonna mention it. There was a former member in Congress who used to put out this you know what I'm talking about, this directory every
Who
year.
to vote for?
Yeah. And Greg, you're right, Doc, you're right.
because she delivered.
Yeah, she delivered. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
delivered.
But you know what? People got to do the research. But you're right. They tune in to Let's Talk Nation to find out about cannabis.
That's right. And listen, and that's why we're here, man. And we've been doing this. And this is the other thing too. If people haven't realized, the reason that we are as astute as we are on different topics is because we challenge each other.
We challenge each other.
Yeah, we don't let. I mean, listen, we make sure, because that's what, when we say iron sharpens iron. Again, that's not two soft talk objects. No, that's hard objects sharpening each other so that you can be sharp and you go to battle.
You're right. And you know what? We can't just sit back and let people do things. And I'll say this: we had a candidate, and we invite candidates on this platform to come and tell people about what you're about versus us having to do it.
That's right.
But we had one candidate in particular, Austin Arthur, that came on the show, and hey, we let him tell the people what he was about. Man, I am so pissed off that I actually saw a campaign that mentioned that this guy, Austin Arthur, who he did not do this, but his opposition basically put out a video that said he had kids that were walking the neighborhood supporting him from 1-800 Rent a Black Kid.
Huh?
What?
Hey, man, that's not even a such thing.
Hey, so
What?
we
They renting black kids now?
Say that again, Doc.
They renting black kids? Hey,
No,
listen.
no, he's
Hey,
not.
we live in strange times. Hey, we live in strange times.
Cut his mic off.
Hey, you told me to cut his mic off.
Cut his mic off.
Hey,
Listen, I don't put nothing past
Hey,
nobody.
but to
Okay?
my point, hey, Austin Arthur, he came on the Let's Talk Nation and he told us what he was
Stop,
about.
man. Stop.
Listen.
You got pause on Doc.
Doc said they were
They doing that. Hey, you know what, Rick?
Oh,
we didn't give an endorsement, man. But this guy, Austin Austin.
Hey,
came
y'all,
in and
wait.
then he
Let
told
me
us what he was
let me
going
stop
to
you,
do.
because this too rich. They rent them. They
Hey,
rent them
hey,
out in
but
tax
Doc,
time.
Let me say.
They rent them out in
This
tax
guy came
time.
in and he looked into that
Hey.
camera and told people what he was all about and what he was going to do. And Greg, I'm impressed with the guy. I'm gonna just say I'm impressed with him.
Oh, Lord. Doc,
Listen, they rent them out in tax time.
Doc ain't listening. He ain't listening to you, man.
He ain't
Uh-uh. Hey, hey, what they say? Tell the truth. Hey, tell the truth, shade the devil. They rent them out in tax time, so hey, they gotta make money the rest of the year too.
We'll see you later, Doc. Hey, Greg, here go the rapid fire for you. How does a black president help America?
Oh, man.
All right, Doc, we got 2 minutes. How does a black president help America?
I mean, listen, if we see what happened with the African American community under President Barack Obama, there was not a whole lot of change. And so, you know, and I think we kind of made the point early on, just because you have an African American in a certain position, we need to stop telling people, we as Democrats, anyone needs to stop telling people, hey, if we get this person in this position, our lives are going to change. Our lives are going to be better, because it's not. And on that same note, Brother Love, for those people who are always talking about, oh, I'm afraid of what's going to happen under the Trump presidency and this, that, or another, we've already seen what happened under the Trump presidency. Were things that bad? Were people going back to, to their homeland and all of the things that they're threatening? Did he become king and suspend the Constitution and all of that stuff when he was president last time? No. So people need to realize we've seen what it's like under a Trump presidency. It's not what these people are telling us. It's not.
So, Greg, at the end of the day, man, I mean, we have this election coming up in November. We see what's taking place right now, unprecedented in history. So, what would you say to people, man? We got about 60 seconds. What would you say to people?
I'll say this. I don't even know if Joe Biden knows that he's not running for president anymore. You laughing, man. This announcement was done through social media, not on official letterhead for the White House. Joe Biden has not come out and made an official statement as a president should or would when they are suspending the campaign. I don't know who wrote this for Joe Biden. So,
Greg, did you just say you don't know if he realized?
I don't even know if he realized he's not running for president anymore. He's gonna come back from this COVID break and gonna be like, all right, y'all, which state we going to now? They're gonna be like, no, sir, we done.
Greg, man, it just come back full circle, man. And I'm gonna say this: you got to be informed, you got to do your research, and that's why Let's Talk Nation is here. Tune in, and we'll give you what we got.
But here's the other thing too, Brother Love. When I talk about this stuff, and people ask me, "Are you really a Democrat?" Yeah, I am, but I don't like fear mongering. If we're gonna get the message out to people to make informed decisions, let's give them real information and not this fear stuff about, oh, you got to move back to Africa, oh, you're gonna lose this, or women have lost all of these rights and things like that with Roe v. Wade, which has just basically returned it back to the states for the states to make the decision. Women still have rights.
Boy,
you still have rights.
You know what, Brother Jackson, you said it, and I'm not even gonna go ahead and add anything to it, brother. We got to continue to do our research. And with that, my brother, you do not have to go home.
But you got to get out of here.
Hey, until next week on Let's Talk Nation, tune in. You're going to get a lot more of this. Hey, thank you for joining us.
Mother,